this I saw, which is crazy. All right, here's some controversial stuff. This painting is epic. The internet is a crazy place. There is incredible artwork. I'm gonna do some reacting to some of the viralist content around art, and you could definitely trust my opinion because I'm in a suit. Applause from the honkers in New York City. So to start, I'm just gonna type in art on TikTok, and I already see this one artist, Werner Bronc, Horst. This guy is pretty incredible and quite viral. A lot of his paintings, I feel like, blew up. Look at this awesome, just super impasto mixed media, you know, these little golf figurines. It's really unique and really epic. Yeah, he uses really impasto stuff. Let's check out his page. Pretty huge artist. I don't think he's reinventing the wheel, but, you know, having this sort of contrasty, you know, super thick paint as sort of the environment for his scenes, and then super miniature, you know, figures within whatever he's painting. Like, what is he doing here? Maybe this is water. It's just unique and it's well executed and it's well filmed. So is it my favorite style of art? No, I don't, you know, this is paint and it is painting, but it's not my favorite cup of tea, but I get why people love it and why he's killing it. Let's go back and see what else is under just art within TikTok. Let's click this one. This is a hilarious trend. Day 3 of revealing my art until it reaches the audience, and it's nothing. And let's see what his, you know, his art is. It's all of the same, pretty not great art, I would say. Let's go to the next. You know, social media is a mix of like real artists who are trying to get their work out, that work hard and take a while to make the art and to get an audience. And then there's people who are sort of lazy and just try to follow trends and put in low effort to try to get a lot of eyeballs. And obviously everyone's allowed to do whatever they want. This is the Wild West, it's the internet here. Let's keep going. This is Sylvie Marie. I've seen sort of this style, like gothic hyper-realism. And I think this sort of art benefits from being on camera. And if you were up in person, like I could see, if we pause it and sort of zoom in, this isn't the most accurate drawing ever. And like the figures, the anatomy isn't great. But as a whole piece, it's super inviting. I want to dive into it and look everywhere. And it's clearly took her a while. And like the composition of this almost looks like a relief sculpture, some crazy thing on some church that, you know, humans would sculpt by hand. So it's pretty cool. And wow, like, you know, 1.7 million views. That's crazy. That's likes, 1.7 million likes. Let's look at some more of Sylvie, if that's how you even say it. Revealing my art, again, the same trend, until I find an audience. It's funny, that this exact drawing reminds me of my painting back there. This painting right here, just floating faces. A lot of my art in the beginning of the days before I did traditional oil painting was sort of art like that. So keep crushing it. By the way, you caught me, I'm wearing not suit pants and I got Crocs on. So the internet's a lie. Everything's a lie. Let's keep scrolling on that same page. We got Warner, past that. Oh, I see some paint splatter. This is, I'm sure we're gonna see some more paint splatter, which is, I hate. And I never wanna actually hate on artists, but the whole spinning canvas with just splattering art is such a beaten down, horrible excuse for painting, in my opinion. I don't even consider it painting. This, I assumed was what's gonna happen. It's like a very impressionistic, energetic, sort of very simple perspective shot of the city, New York City specifically. That's the Empire State Building. Maybe this is like Times Square, maybe not, but you know, this is cool. And you know, this is, I think, style of painting, whatever genre you want to put it in, impressionistic, splattery, you know, from way far back, it reads really well because the perspective is nailed. There's all these reflections from the cabs and the lights. It's pretty cool. This dude, Paul Keaton, you know, it seems like he knows what he's doing. And wow, 1 million followers. And wow, some of his videos get so many views because, you know, it's cool. It has that energy for the video. You know, you're like, oh, what is this gonna turn into? It's large scale. And so I can see how people like this work. Again, not my sort of cup of tea, but no hate. I mean, he's playing the game of social media and kudos to him. Let's type in oil painting because I love oil painting. And let's just immediately go into that genre. Here's one, my first oil painting versus, whoa, is that an oil painting? That's crazy if this is, yeah, that looks like a painting. Wow, this is Sab Sabrina. Really crazy still lifes, arrangements of little knickknacks, almost like if you pulled open a junk drawer. Really detailed, pretty cool. This is pretty unique, especially for, you know, more oil painting. This is like, I wouldn't say hyper realism, but it's sort of like a curated arrangement of still lifes that's quite realistic, but very like nostalgic or theme-based, embassy room, June bug. I really like that actually. I paint your favorite treasures and memories. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I think that takes a lot of skill and effort and creativity. So I'm gonna give that a double thumbs up. So let's move to Instagram, and I've been sending myself a lot of videos through Studio Slooh, which is right behind me, where my art organization where we host art experiences weekly, trying to build an art school here. And if you're looking to support this nonprofit, we actually made a Patreon page where you could donate monthly. There's also some cool reference photos that I post weekly to do little art challenges, and there's a Discord to post all your stuff. Great way to support. This is something I saw that was so cool that I was like, wow, this is so unique. One of these awesome things. This is like climbing rope that she cuts angularly and then sort of pins onto wood. You could see the mass amount of colored rope behind. So I thought this was so cool and well executed and probably a great reuse of materials. I just feel like, you know, again, it's like, I didn't even think that this is possible. Obviously, a bajillion people out there in the world are doing interesting things, and this is just really unique. Tasteful, fun things. I could see sort of the climbing community being very into copying some of these pieces. You could see all of these. It's just cool. And like recycling material, it's very tasteful, simple landscape. I dig it. And also I could see how this does very well on social media because of all the uniqueness and visuals, burning things. It's sort of like a perfect recipe. So shout out. This is a double thumbs up. Oh, this I saw, which is crazy. I saw this a while ago. Look at this. A sea of easels, a nation of artists, thousands of students gather in Guiyang, China for their world's largest art entrance exams. That is crazy. And the quality of the work that you see briefly looks really good. So look at this, all of these insane traditional fine artists. Portraits, thousands on the floor, thousands of still lifes. They're all sort of competing. That is crazy. That is insane. Wow. All right, here's some controversial stuff that I actually think is very interesting. This is a robot that is printing on a wall graffiti. Automated Rebellion Part 4. I thought this was super thought-provoking, and I come from graffiti, like, not like a hardcore illegal graffiti writer, but I love the culture, and I used to, you know, my origins is graffiti. So I'm assuming this is his original artwork that he put onto the computer and has this device to plaster. And obviously there's all of these brands. And so maybe this is sort of speaking to the advertisement and sellout of a lot of things. It's a really good graffiti style, a great little Luigi character. Let's see these comments. Since when does the rebellion do corporate advertising? So I think that's the point that people are missing. I'm inclined to dislike the method, but I love the art. This is so fantastically postmodern, the automated graffiti, the NASCAR-esque sponsorships, perfect. Yeah, pretty cool. I think that was the point of this. Let's look at his, wow, not a huge artist, even though that video went pretty viral. It looks like, yeah, this person is really sort of playing on this rebellious graffiti culture with the new age. If that's postmodern, I don't even know what that means. I'm not gonna pretend to know I know the distinct nomenclature of art world and history and what currently is happening. I'm just a Dumbo talking to the camera on the internet. Pretty cool, I thought, worth sharing. What do you think? I think that's pretty cool, and like, minus the major conception, the actual artist seems like he's talented in graffiti, and the fact that he's going, out of his way to do all that technological stuff with the robot, I think that's actually pretty cool. Thumbs up for me. Let's type in splatter paint canvas. I'm assuming this is gonna be the stuff I dislike, and so we will get some reactions to this. Yeah, this is like, so many people are doing it, and it looks so cool for the camera, I will admit, because it's this giant gyrating canvas in this huge white room, and then this insane spinning colorful barrel with holes. Like, you can't not look at it. It's like a, like a car crash. Is this skillful or talented? I would say 0%. I would say the only skill involved is if this person, manufactured this contraption to spin that canvas. I think that's pretty ingenuity forward and like MacGyver-esque, but just pouring paint and spinning it has no real talent or skill, but that's for other people to decide, Obviously getting a lot of views. Let's look at his list. Colin Schwab, really, huge. 6 million followers, tens of thousands of views, getting 16 million views here. Oh, wow, with some humans. That's pretty crazy. So this is like very performative almost. This isn't even like painting. Again, there's paint involved, but it's totally performative and has nothing to do with, I think, really being a painter. Is this even considered art? I think it's performative, and that falls into some category. I'm sure some people would even love this on their wall, which is completely fine. Not my cup of tea, but I can respect the game that they're playing, especially getting millions of views on the internet. Like, look at how crazy this is. This is just crazy. Let's type in viral art, see if that does us any good here. This has 1.3 million likes. This is kind of crazy. Throwing some stuff, what is that? I have to rewatch this. Let's watch the whole thing and watch it again. All right, let's rewatch it. She threw something, it's like a ball of clay or has ink. Cool layered figures within this silhouetted figure. I think that's pretty cool. Going so fast, it's hard to track what's going on. Pretty cool though, but I don't leave it behind. All right, Pawn Arsher, pretty huge, millions of views here. Okay, so a lot of figurative stuff. This is pretty cool. This is like really thoughtful, creative. This woman seems skilled, unique, sort of all of the good. Oh, rocking back and forth, kind of crazy. Interesting video, pretty energetic. I wonder if that's just for the video and performative. Not hating. You're allowed to do whatever you want. Ooh, look at this. Kind of crazy, kind of wacky. Yeah, that's cool. I dig this. She's doing it. She's doing it. Double thumbs up for me. What do you think? Pawn Arsher, that's a random discovery. I'm wearing a hat now because the hair was in my face and it was bothering me. And before we continue quickly, I gotta talk about the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace, the best website to build a website. Right here behind me, Studio Slooh is an in-person art program, and I can't sell tickets unless I have a really awesome website that can host and schedule all of these ticketed events. Squarespace is that website. I've been using it for 2 years. It's so great. They have award-winning templates. Their user interface makes it so easy and professional. I've never had an issue, but if I did, they have 24-hour customer service to help me out. They have everything you need for e-commerce, for portfolios. Obviously, if you're a serious artist, you want a good website to host whatever you're doing, selling things, selling paintings, having in-person classes. So Squarespace is definitely the one. Again, just really positive things to say about it. It's sort of the backbone of my nonprofit organization here. Check it out. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to buy a domain and build a website, go to squarespace.com/Slooh for 10% off. Living in my parents' basement until I sell a $10,000 painting. Wow, let's see what you got. Oh, abstract? don't know what it is. Am I crazy for thinking it's possible? Maybe slightly. Let's see what else this guy's got. 1.3 million views. Living in my parents' basement until I saw $10,000 painting day 58. So good trend. He's trying to work an audience. He is a painter. He's working every day. Boom. Okay. Immediately the figure takes me out of it. The anatomy is not there. And it looked like once we see this painting again, it looks like the horse is pretty good. The horse looks solid, but that figure is, it's hard to not look at that and how bubbly and wrong it looks, which is fine. I mean, anatomy is super hard. Unless you're working from a reference and copy the reference exactly, if you're not so masterful at anatomy, trying to come up with it on your own is just insane. I can't come close to do it. I even struggle copying, so not too much hate here, but a focal point, this figure is sitting on the horse in the center of the painting. Got to really try to nail that because it's all I could look at, to be honest. But looks like William does some other stuff, maybe some portraiture. Let's fast forward here. Gosh, the anticipation of the painting twist. Yeah, this is a solid portrait, definitely solid. I really like the dark background. I think, it's a great proportions. It looks like it's just the skin tones. Oil painting is so fun because you can idealize reality. So this is a naturalistic portrait, as in he's trying to find a likeness, look like the person, not like hyper real or a photo, but natural in a painterly style, which I love. But the face looks just like orange, right? Like super tan, maybe, sure, but you could idealize the rosy red cheeks, the red nose. You could create different zones of color, bring in some purples, greens. You can get really wacky. Now, this artist is doing whatever he wants. I'm just saying that's what I like and what I like to see and the type of art I like to paint, especially portraiture. Got a few portraits, some better than others, definitely. Okay, on to the next. This is my entry for a $125,000 art competition. Oh, have I seen this kid before? Gold oil paint. Is this the super young kid, I think? Ah, yeah, it is. Wow, look at that. Oh man, this painting is epic. Look at that. Look at that. Holy macaroni. Oh my God, Tails? Jaquel? Tails? Jaquel? I want to find that painting. This is epic also. I mean, some wacky, what is this? 21 years old, that's crazy. I'm always curious about these kids. 21 is quite young to be that, pretty skilled with oil paint. And I always wonder their upbringing, like within art. Did they go to a really nice atelier or art school where there was like seriously good teachers and this person just happened to, really dialed in from a young age and get it and practice? Or is it just, are you just born really, really talented? I'm of the argument that, anyone can learn to speak the visual language in whatever medium you're in, but it takes a lot of time, like learning Japanese or Spanish. Here's the painting I'm looking for. Big twist. Oh, and he saves it. I wish I could just see the photos. This is why TikTok is the photo app, right? And Instagram is where you see photos. Tails, am I following? Oh, I'm already following it. There you go, I didn't even recognize. Is this it? Nope, I just want to see a photo. Wow, look at this one. This is crazy. All these little individual paint strokes, and it reads really well from farther away, and then up close, it's just wacky and but beautiful. I mean, you could see the figure in its perfect anatomy, as if it's underwater with great shading. Oh man, this is some high level terrific stuff. Really interesting, high luminosity and vibrance paintings here. I guess maybe that's part of the style of Tails. Oh, here it is. Wow, look at this. This one's really epic. Oh man, I wonder if he won that competition. I feel like a lot of those captions are not true and they just use it to hook people in. I do the same, not in that sense, but in different hooking senses, but really terrific, really epic, triple thumbs up for me. Okay, this sort of takes us through the process. This is Yasmin, really big glazing canvas, giving good context. This has 1.4 million likes, which is crazy. Huge dog, which it seems people love dogs. People love animals. So if you're making animal art, that's gonna help out the algorithm, I think. Values are more important than details, totally true. It's like a classic underpainting. It looks like this is gonna stop, which is interesting because I wanna see the final painting. And these paintings are fine, but it's interesting that you just put out the beginning of a painting that's really big scaled and very interesting and intriguing, and it gets so many views, and then you don't finish it. I guess a lot of people, again, it's the Wild West out here on the internet. They don't, sometimes the process is more exciting than the final product. This portrait is not great, I could already tell. It takes me out a little. It's really hard to nail portraiture if the lighting's not good, whereas the dog in this, you could nail the dog. It doesn't need to be a perfect likeness. It looks like a dog. It looks cute. It's really hard when you have a human and a dog together because you need to nail the human. Let's look at a couple more here. I mean, it's clear that Yasmin is painting a lot, and I would never knock the hustle, so keep killing, but it's a tough comparison. If you're doing just dogs, like let's look at this little schnauzer. Is this a schnauzer? Yeah, like this is awesome. It's a little flat in my opinion. Oh, there comes some more highlights. I like that. Not much dynamic lighting. You really need some shadows with dogs even, especially human portraiture, but this looks like an interesting big piece. Again, 500,000 likes, clearly killing the social media game. These huge multi-figure scenes, you're playing with foreshortening, and what's up in front is obviously more in focus than the background if you're working from reference. These are really, really ambitious paintings, which I respect. And it's not, I wouldn't say these are, professional level paintings, but Yasmin is going for it, and you can't knock the hustle. And so I think that's it for this reaction. Hopefully I wasn't too critical. And again, you could definitely trust me because I'm in an art studio and I'm wearing a suit. No, it's just my opinion, grain of salt with everything. I don't want to disrespect anyone who's authentically trying to make art and is enjoying it. I'm strictly talking about what I like, what I see, critiquing. Let me know what you think. Start some, not fights or hate in the comments, but I'm curious to what you think. And if you want this to become a returning series, because I kind of like reacting. And again, there are so many undiscovered or giantly viral artists making incredible work that I love and always see while I'm doom scrolling. So I think I'm gonna make some more of these videos. Ta-ta for now.